Namo Buddhaya, the Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram, the large sutra on perfect wisdom, chapter 73rd, the perfection of the imperishable consummation of the marks and minor characteristics, the reunion with the Dharma-body, the substantial body, the Dharma-body, the enjoyment body, the work of the Dharma-body by means of the transformation body in general. Subhuti. How, O Lord, when all dharmas are like a dream, non-entities with non-existence for their own being and empty of own marks, can there be a definite distinction between them, to the effect that these dharmas are wholesome and those unwholesome, these worldly and those supramundane, these with and those without outflows, these conditioned and those non-conditioned, these conductive to the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc., to those conducted to the supreme enlightenment. So, with regard to those dharmas, which are like an echo, a reflected image, a magical illusion, a mirage, a magical creation, which are non-entities, have non-existence for own being and are empty of own marks, how can there be a definite distinction between them, to the effect that these dharmas are wholesome and those unwholesome, etc., to those are conductive to the supreme enlightenment? The Lord. Here Subhuti, the foolish, untrained common person, apprehends the dream and apprehends him who sees it, etc. He apprehends the magical creation as well as him who sees it. As a result, he brings about karma formations by body, speech, or mind, which are wholesome, unwholesome, or immovable. In consequence, the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom demonstrates Dharma to beings after he has stood in two kinds of emptiness: the absolute emptiness and the emptiness in which is without beginning and end. And he says that empty is all that that belongs to the triple world. Therein there is no form, etc., no consciousness, no skandhas, elements or sense fields. A dream is all this an echo, etc., to a magical creation. Therein there are no skandhas, elements or sense fields, and also no dream or one who sees it, no echo or one who hears it, no reflected image, magical illusion, or mirage, and no one who sees them, no magical creation, and no one who creates it. But all these dharmas are non-entities and have non-existence for own being. You therefore perceive skandhas, elements, and sense fields where there are none. In fact, all these dharmas are due to conditioned co-production. They have originated from the perverted views. They have been taken hold of as the result of karma. How then it is that you become perceivers of entities with regard to dharmas which are non-entities? It is thus that the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom by his skill and means turns niggardly beings away from their niggardliness and exhorts them to the perfection of giving. And to them the giving of gifts becomes conductive to great wealth. Having moved them away from this, he exhorts them to the perfection of morality, and their taking morality upon themselves becomes conductive to their beings reborn in heaven. Having moved then away from this, he exhorts them to transit concentration, which in its turn is conductive to their rebirth in the Brahman world. And so he exhorts them to the various chances, from the first chance to the attainment of the station of neither perception nor non-perception. He then dissuades them in various ways from those inferior things, like given morality and concentration, and from their fruits, and encourages them to win the realm of nirvana, which leaves nothing behind, exhorts them with it, and establishes them in it. He encourages and exhorts them to win the 4 applications of mindfulness, etc., to the 18 special Buddha dharmas, and he disciplines and establishes them in them. With the help of these dharmas without outflows, immaterial, indefinable, and non-reactant, he established in the fruit of a Streamwinner those who strive for the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc. He describes the path of enlightenment to those who strive for the supreme enlightenment, points it out to them, fills them with enthusiasm for it, encourages it, and establishes it. It is thus that the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom makes definite distinctions between dharmas, although they are all like a dream, non-entities with non-existence in their own being and empty of own marks. Subhuti, it is wonderful that it is astonishing that the Bodhisattva who courses in this deep perfection of wisdom should then all dharmas have non-existence for own being, when they are absolutely empty and empty of both beginning and end, yet make a definite distinction between dharmas which are wholesome and unwholesome, etc., which are conditioned and unconditioned. The Lord. So it is Subhuti, it is indeed wonderful and astonishing of the Bodhisattvas that when they course in this deep perfection of wisdom, they nevertheless make a definite distinction between dharmas. And when Subhuti, you consider this wonderful and astonishing dharma of a Bodhisattva, you must admit that it is not easy for all you disciples and practical Buddhas to repay the Bodhisattva for his favors. All of you cannot possibly surpass this dharma of a Bodhisattva. Subhuti. What then is this wonderful and astonishing dharma of a bodhisattva which doesn't exist for all the disciples and particular Buddhas? The Lord. Therefore, then, Subhuti, listen and attend well. I will explain. Listen, and I will explain this to you. Here, the bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom, having stood in the six perfections born of karma result, in the five superknowledges, etc., in the 18 special Buddha dharmas, and having traveled to the world systems in the 10 directions, helps beings with what they require, whether it be gifts, morality, etc., to the concentration on emptiness, the signless, the wishless. Subhuti. How does the Bodhisattva help beings by giving? Lord. Here, the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom gives gifts, food to those in need of food, etc., to anything else that may be useful to human beings. And just as he gives to the Tathagata, so also to particular Buddhas, Arhats, etc., to Streamwinners, to those who are reborn in the right places of rebirth, and to those who progress in the right direction. So he gives to humans and to those who are reborn as animals. To all he gives gifts after he has formed the notion of non-differentiation. And why? Because he has cognized all dharmas as being just one undifferentiatedness. Having given gifts without differentiating, he becomes the recipient of an undifferentiated dharma, the knowledge of all modes. But if a bodhisattva, when faced with a living being in the animal world who doesn't seem worthy of gifts, should produce a thought to the effect that a fully enlightened Buddha is worthy of my gifts, but not this animal, then he doesn't have the dharma of a bodhisattva. And why? Because the bodhisattva who has raised his thought to enlightenment has not set out for the supreme enlightenment with the reflection, these beings I should help with give, but not those. Helped by gifts, they will be reborn in good families, and in due course they will, by means of the three vehicles, enter into the realm of nirvana, which leaves nothing behind. If all people taken together should plan to kill the bodhisattva, his thoughts should remain unaltered. He should not think should I give to them or should I not? But with unshaken mind, he should resolve to give gifts to just those people. And why? Because for the sake of those people, he has set out towards full enlightenment, and if he should so discriminate, he will become an object of reproach to those Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, practical Buddhas, and Arhats, to those still in training and to the world with its gods, men, and asuras, when he becomes at their request of all beings the shelters, the place of rest, the refuge, the final relief. Moreover, if humans and non-humans come to the Bodhisattva and plan to cut him up limb by limb, then he should not produce a dual thought to the effect that I will give or I will not give. And why? Because that bodhisattva has taken hold of his bodily basis deliberately for the sake of beings and with the intention that through his physical personality the welfare of beings should be worked. And he should produce a thought thus, may those people for whose sake I have appropriated this physical personality go away satisfied, when they have received everything without having solicited for it. And it is thus that the bodhisattva should train in perfect wisdom. Moreover, when the bodhisattva is faced with a beggar, he should produce a thought thus, he whom he gives, what he gives, and all these dharmas, the own being cannot be apprehended. And why? Because these dharmas are empty through their absolute emptiness. And emptiness doesn't give anything or takes anything away. It is thus that a bodhisattva should train in perfect wisdom, in the inward emptiness, etc., to the emptiness of all marks. When he has stood in this emptiness, then whatever he gives, the perfection of given will constantly and always be fulfilled in him. And when he has fulfilled this perfection of giving, he will, when his inner and outer belongings are cut or broken off, produce the thought, there is nothing that cuts or breaks me. The functions of the Dharma-body. The activity which appeases the places of rebirth, the activity which appeases the hells. Here surveying the world with by Buddha, I have seen in the eastern direction and world systems countless like the sons of Ganga, bodhisattvas who have deliberately hurled themselves into the great hells and who, after they have appeased the suffering of beings in these great hells, demonstrate Dharma to those beings in the hells by means of three kinds of miracles. Their miraculous wonder-working power, the miraculous reading of their thoughts, and their miraculous admonition. When they have first appeased the sufferings in those hells, they then demonstrate Dharma with the help of their miraculous thought reading and their miraculous admonition. And it is with their great loving kindness, their great compassion, their great sympathetic joy, and their great impartiality that these bodhisattvas demonstrate Dharma. Thereupon, in the presence of these bodhisattvas, the thought of those beings in the hells becomes serene, and they emerge from those great hells. Thereafter, they are reborn among gods and men, and will have all the three kinds of miracles, and make an end of ill, and so for the other directions. The activity which appears the world of animals. Here Subhuti is surveying the world with by Buddha eye in all directions in the world system, countless like the sands of Ganga. I have seen bodhisattvas who serve upon the Buddhas and Lords with such an intense devotion that they are dear and not undear to them, that they please and do not displease them, and that they respect and do not disrespect them. And these bodhisattvas learn the Dharma which those Buddhas and Lords teach, bearing in mind and never allow it to be forgotten again before they win the supreme enlightenment. Moreover, Buddhists reign the world with my Buddha eye. I have seen in all directions in world systems countless like the sons of Ganga bodhisattvas who, for the sake of animal beings, perform the surrender of themselves. Again and again, all the limbs of these bodhisattvas are torn to pieces and scattered in the 10 directions, and then the animals eat their flesh. They thus acquire a feeling of friendliness for these bodhisattvas, and through the acquisition of this friendliness, they emerge from that animal world and are reborn among gods and men. On being reborn, then there they please the Buddhas and Lords and serve upon them. They hear the Dharma from these Buddhas and Lords, and as a result, they progress to thusness. Gradually, they are nirvanized in the realm of nirvana, which leaves nothing behind, and that through the three vehicles, the disciple vehicle, the practical Buddha vehicle, the great vehicle. It is thus that the bodhisattva achieve much good when they raise their thought to the supreme enlightenment and progress to thusness, etc., until they win final nirvana in the realm of nirvana, which leaves nothing behind. The activity which appeases the world of Yama. Here Subhuti is surveying the world with my Buddha eye. I have seen in all directions in world system countless like the sands of the Ganga. Bodhisattvas who allay in the beings belonging to the realm of the hungry cause all the sufferings which they feel in that realm. Thereupon the hearts of those hungry ghosts become friendly towards these bodhisattvas, and as a result they emerge from their world of hungry ghosts and are born in the world of gods and men, and they will never again be deprived of the Buddhas and Lords until they win final nirvana in the realm of nirvana, which leaves nothing behind. Thus, dwelling in the great compassion, the bodhisattva is concerned with the welfare of beings, with leading them to final nirvana. The activity which appeases the world of the gods. Here, Subhuti surveying the world with my Buddha eye. I have seen in all directions in the world systems countless like the sands of Ganga. Bodhisattvas who demonstrate Dharma to the gods of the four great kings, etc., to the Paranirmita, Vasar, Vartin gods, and those gods who have heard the Dharma from these bodhisattvas have, through the three vehicles, gradually won final nirvana, do win final nirvana, and will win final nirvana. When they find that some gods have become intoxicated with the five kinds of the most excellent sense pleasures, they wait until their mansions are all ablaze and then demonstrate Dharma to them as follows. Surely, sirs, impermanent are all conditioned things, ill, not your own, unstable, unreliable, bound to deteriorate. Who can trust in conditioned things? Here, Subhuti is serene in the world with my Buddha eye. I have seen in all directions in world systems countless like the sands of the Ganga. Bodhisattvas who dissuade from views about Brahma, those who have settled down in them. How, sirs, can you produce such false views when all dharmas I am to you worthless and insignificant? It is thus that the Bodhisattvas established in the great compassion demonstrate Dharma to beings wonderful indeed, and this astonishing Dharma of the Bodhisattvas, the activity which appeases the world of men. Here Subhuti is away in the world with my Buddha. I have seen in all directions in the world systems, countless like the sands of Ganga, Bodhisattvas who help men with the four means of conversion. Which form? They are gifts, kind words, actions for their benefit, consistency between words and deeds. And how does the Bodhisattva help beings with gifts? He helps them into two kinds of gifts, material gifts and the gift of Dharma. And how does he help beings with material gifts? Coursing in perfect wisdom, he gives away gold, silver, etc. to horses, elephants, and he says to them, "Hey, you people, come along, as I have not held on to these things, so also do you give them up." Having given them this gift, he leads them on to take their refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Some he makes take up the 5 precepts, others he makes observe the 8 precepts on the Sabbath, others he establishes in the 10 wholesome ways of action, others he causes to enter on the first trance, etc. To others he established in arhatship or in the enlightenment of a particular Buddha. It is thus that the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom gives material gifts to all beings and establishes them in a state of the highest security. This is the Bodhisattva's wonderful and astonishing Dharma. And how does the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom helps beings with the gift of Dharma? There are two kinds of the gift of Dharma, the worldly and the supramundane. What then is the gift of the worldly Dharma? Is the teaching of all worldly Dharmas the demonstration and revelation of them, of the 9 kinds of repulsiveness, the 4 trances, the 4 stations of Brahma, the 4 formless attainment, and of whatever other worldly Dharma they may be, that are shared by the foolish common people. And when the Bodhisattva is given this gift of worldly dharmas, he then, by various methods, turns them away from their cultivation and through his skill and means establish them in holy dharmas and in their fruit. And which are the holy dharmas and which is their fruit? The holy dharmas are described as the 37 dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment and the 3 doors to deliverance. The fruit of the holy dharmas is the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc. to arhatship. Furthermore, this is the holy dharma of a bodhisattva that he has a cognition of the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc. to arhatship, of the enlightenment of the particular Buddha, etc. to of the 37 dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment, etc. to of the 10 powers of a Tathagata, etc. to of the great friendliness, the great compassion, the great sympathetic joy, and the great impartiality. And if there are, in addition to these, any other worldly and supramundane dharmas, with or without outflow, conditioned or unconditioned, their cognition up to the knowledge of all modes, these are called the holy dharmas of a bodhisattva. And what again is for a bodhisattva the fruit of a holy dharmas? All the fruits up to the forsaken of all defilements and their residues. Subhuti. Does then the bodhisattva reach the knowledge of all modes? Yes, he does, Lord said. Subhuti. In that case, what is the difference between him and a Tathagata, Lord? There is a difference between them. Subhuti. What then it is? The bodhisattva reaches the knowledge of all modes, but the Tathagata is called one who has attained to its cognition. And why? For the thought in which he is established, when he has reached then non-blindness, all dharmas cannot be apprehended as respectively different in the bodhisattva and the Tathagata. So much about a bodhisattva's gift of worldly dharmas, which becomes the basis for his gift of supramundane dharmas. It is thus in the bodhisattva, when he has joined upon beings, the gift of the worldly dharmas goes on through his skill and means until he establishes them in the knowledgeable modes. The fourfold means of conversion. And what is on the part of the bodhisattva the gift of the supramundane dharmas, which are not shared with all foolish common people? They are the four applications of mindfulness, the four right efforts, the four bases of psychic power, the five dominants, the five powers, the seven limbs of enlightenment, the Holy Eightfold Path, the three gateways of emancipation, the eight deliverances, the nine successive attainments, the 10 powers of Tathagata, the four grounds of self-confidence, the four analytical knowledges, the great friendliness, the great compassion, the 18 special dharmas of Buddha, the 32 marks of the Superman, the 80 accessory marks, the 500 Dharani doors, and the hundreds of concentration doors. This is the gift of Dharma, which is supermundane and not worldly. The 37 wings of enlightenment. And what Subhuti are the four applications of mindfulness? With regard to the inward body, he dwells as one who reviews the body, and so he dwells with regard to the outward body, and to both the inward and outward body, ardent, clearly conscious and mindful, after putting away all worldly covetousness and sadness. With regard to the body, he dwells as one who reviews its origination, its disappearance, and both its origination and disappearances. He dwells as one who doesn't lean on anything, and as one who doesn't grasp at the world, and so with regard to feelings through thought and dharmas. And what are the four right efforts? He courses his will to bring about the future non-production of evil and unwholesome dharmas, which have not yet been produced. He exerts himself to bring about the forsaking of evil and unwholesome dharmas, which have been produced. He rouses his will to and puts forth a vigor so as to bring about the production of wholesome dharmas, which are not yet been produced. He rouses his will so as to bring about the growth of those wholesome dharmas which have been produced, their greater abundance and the fulfillment of their development. And what are the four bases of psychic power? They are endowed with the formative forces of effort, and their concentration is caused, respectively, by desire to do, thought, vigor, or exploration. And what are the five dominants? Faith, vigor, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. And what are the five powers? The same as five dominants. And which are the seven limbs of enlightenment? Mindfulness, investigation into dharmas, vigor, joyous zest, tranquility, concentration, and even-mindedness. And what is the Holy Eightfold Path? Right view, right intention, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. The four unlimited. And what are the three concentrations? The concentration on emptiness, on the signless, and on the wishless. And what is the concentration on emptiness? The one-pointedness of thought, which is achieved by the modes of the empty and the isolated. And what is the concentration of the silence? The one-pointedness of thought, which is achieved by the mode of calm quiet. And what is the concentration on the wishless? The one-pointedness of thought, which is achieved by the modes of impermanent and ill. The eight deliverances. And what are the eight deliverances? Having form, he sees forms. Perceiving inward form, he sees outward forms. He becomes resolved on loveliness by completely overcoming all perceptions of form, by the going to rest of the perceptions of impact by not attending to the perceptions of manifoldness on thinking endless space. He dwells in the attainment of the station of endless space. By completely overcoming the station of endless space or thinking infinite consciousness, he dwells in the attainment of the station of infinite consciousness. By completely overcoming the station of infinite consciousness on thinking that there is no anything, he dwells in the attainment of the station of nothing whatever. By completely overcoming the station of nothing whatever, he dwells in the attainment of the station of neither perception nor perception. By completely overcoming the station of neither perception nor non-perception, he dwells in the attainment of the cessation of perception and feeling, the non-successive attainments. And what are the non-successive attainments? Here, someone dwells detached from sense desires, detached from the evil and unwholesome dharmas, in the attainment of the first trance, which is with thoughts applied and discourse, born of detachment, full of rapture and ease, etc. Too, he dwells in one who has attained the station of neither perception nor perception. By completely overcoming the station of neither perception nor perception, he dwells in attainment of the cessation of perception and feeling, the 10 powers. And what are the 10 powers of a Tathagata? Here a Tathagata wisely knows, as it really is, what can be as what can be, and what cannot be as what cannot be. He wisely knows, as they really are the karmic results of past, future, present actions and undertakings of actions as to place and cause. He wisely knows, as they really are, of other beings, other persons, the faculties and powers, as well as their limbs of enlightenment, trances, concentrations, and meditational attainments, and also their defilement and purification. He wisely knows, as they really are, the higher and lower faculties of other beings and persons, and also their various dispositions. He wisely knows, as it really is the progressive way that leads everywhere, and also the various elements in the world, its multifarious elements. He recollects his various past lives. He recollects one birth, etc., to all their molds and in detail. With his heavenly eye, pure and surpassing that of man, he sees beings as they die and rise again, etc., too, as they are born in a happy destiny in heaven amongst the gods. He wisely knows, as it really is, that emancipation of his heart effected through wisdom, which is without outflows and which results from the extinction of the outflows. The four grounds of self-confidence. And what are the four grounds of self-confidence? That I who claim to be fully enlightened am not fully enlightened, as to whose dharmas I see nothing to indicate that anyone in this world with its gods, maras, brahmans, brahmins, etc., can with justice make this charge. And as I see nothing to indicate this, I dwell in the attainment of security and fearlessness. I claim my exalted place as the leader, rightly roar the lion's roar in the assembly, and set roll in the sacred wheel, which cannot with justice be set rolling by any recluse Brahmin, god, Mara, or Brahmin, or anyone else in the world. 2. That I who claim to have dried up the outlaws have not completely dried them up, that charge is impossible, etc. 3. That those dharmas which I have described and as impediments should have no power to impede him who pursues them. The charge is impossible, etc. 4. That he who cultivates the progressive path, which I have described as holy, conductive to going forth and to penetration, and as bringing the doer of it to the right extinction of will, should not go forth to the right extinction of will, that charge is impossible, etc. These are the four grounds of self-confidence, the four analytical knowledges. What again are the four analytical knowledges? They are the analytical knowledge of the meaning of the Dharma of languages of inspired speech. And which are they? They have meaning, Dharma, languages, and the inspired speech for their respective objective support. The 18 special Buddha Dharmas. And what are the 18 special Buddha Dharmas of the Tathagata? The Tathagata, 1. Does not trip up. 2. Is not rash or noisy in his speech. 3. Is never robbed of his mindfulness. 4. His thought is never unconcentrated. 5. He has no perception of difference. 6. His even-mindedness is not due to lack of consideration. He never fails in 7. His zeal. 8. Vigor. 9. Mindfulness. 10. Concentration. 11. Wisdom. Or 12. In his deliverance or his vision and cognition of deliverance, all his deeds of. 13. Body. 14. Voice, speech, and 15. Mind are preceded by cognition and constitute to conform to cognition. His vision and cognition regarding the 16 past, 17 future, and 18 present period of time proceed unobstructed and freely. The enjoyment body. And what are the Tathagata's 32 marks of Superman? The Lord's feet are well placed. He places the entire soles of his feet evenly on the ground, just as a round basket which, when tipped up, moves down, and when tipped down, moves up. He has stamped on the soles of his feet lines depicting a wheel. On his 2 feet there grow wheels with 1,000 spokes, with rims and names, complete in every respect. The soles of his feet and the palms of his hands are tender and soft. His hands and feet are softer than those of others. His toes and fingers are long. They are longer than those of others. His hands and feet are joined by webs, as with the royal goose. He has broad heels. His 2 heels are broader than those of others. His feet have inconspicuous ankle bones. His 2 ankle bones grow high up. His shanks are like those of the black antelope, because his shanks are gradually tapering away, like those of the black antelope king on deer. His bodily frame is well grown, tall and straight. It is not crooked, not bent, well grown in all ways. Its height is 7 cubits, and everything is proportioned accordingly. His arms reach to his knees. When he stands up, he can, without bending down, whenever he wants, touch and stroke his kneecaps with the 2 palms of his hands. His male organ is hidden in a sheath, as in the case of noble thoroughbred, elephant, or horse. The hairs of his body stand separately. In each hair pore there grows only one single hair, which is soft, curls in rings, and turns to the right. The hairs of his body points upward. The hairs of his head and body grow in such a way that they are turned onwards. They are blue-black, soft, curl in rings, and turn to the right. His skin is smooth and delicate. Water and dust do not cleave to his body. His skin has a golden hue, making him handsome and attractive. His body shines brightly, just like a bar of gold. He has 7 prominences, 2 below in the soles of his feet, and 2 on his hands, 2 on his shoulder blades, and 1 behind on his neck. And they are all handsome, attractive, and beautiful to behold, with ample flesh and blood. The upper part of his body is like that of a lion. It is large like that of the lion, king of beasts. His shoulders are gently curved, because they are muscular. His shoulders are everywhere amply developed. The interval between his shoulders is well filled. His chest is wide and well elevated. The circumference of his body is like that of the fig tree. As great as he is in height, so great is he in width. As great as he is in width, so great is he in height. He has jaws like a lion. His jaws are well rounded, as those of the lion. He has a total of 40 teeth, 20 below and 20 above. There are no gaps between his teeth. His teeth are all close together. His teeth are equal in size because not some teeth are higher and some lower. His teeth are very white. They shine brilliantly. He has taste conductors which give him the most excellent taste. The taste conductors in his throat are quite straight. Those in his tongue are not twisted or bloodless, since his nerves are so well endowed, his body is supremely fit. His tongue is long. When he desires to do so, he touches and strokes with his tongue the apertures of his two ears, and he covers with his tongue the apertures of his two eyes and his entire face up to the ears. His voice is like that of Brahma. His voice can be heard as clearly in a large assembly as in the inside of a room, and his speech is as charming as the song of the Kalavinka bird. His eyes are intensely black. The black of his eyes is pure black, and the white pure white. The eyelashes are like those of a magnificent heifer. His eyelashes are like those of a great bull. Those below are just below, and those above are just above, and they are in no way disarranged. He has a tuft of hair between his eyebrows. A tuft of hair grows between his eyebrows, which is very white and soft, resembles a tuft of cotton, and is not in touch with his eyebrows. The hair is turning to the right and curling in rings. There is a cowl on his head. His head is well rounded, and through the large circumference of the cowl, it looks exceedingly beautiful. There are the 32 marks of a Superman. With the help of them, he irradiates the great treacly cosmos. With his radiance and with his natural splendor, he also irradiates the countless world system if he so wishes, and the Tathagata sustains beings with his halo out of pity for them. When, however, the Lord's halo no longer sustains them, then overcome by his natural splendor, the light of sun and moon are no longer encountered, and the moon and the half moon, the days and the years cease to exist. And with his natural voice, he instructs the great Richely cosmos as often as he wishes to do so, and as far as his radiance reaches. It is thus that the Bodhisattva helps beings with the two kinds of gift, the worldly gift and the gift of Dharma. This is the Bodhisattva's wonderful and astonishing Dharma. And how does the Bodhisattva help beings with kind words? He helps them with the six perfections. And why? Because all wholesome dharmas are included in these perfections. And how does the Bodhisattva help beings with actions which benefit them? He has helped beings for a long time with these six perfections, with gifts, kind words, actions for their benefit, and consistency between words and deeds. And he demonstrates to beings the 80 accessory marks, which are they? The nails of the Buddha's and Lord's are copper colored, glossy like a flower in full bloom, and elevated. Their toes and fingers are rounded, elongated, compact, and tapering. Their veins do not bulge out and are free from knots. The ankle bones do not bulge out. Their feet are not unequal in size. They walk with stride of a lion, elephant, the royal goose, and of a large bull, and they walk while turning to the right and elegantly. Their limbs are straight, well rounded, smooth, and slender. Their knee orbs are well formed, their genitals are fully developed, their bearing is always defined. 25 is missing in the text. 26. They walk at an even pace. Their limbs are salubrious, soft, and clean. They are worthy of being looked at. Their face is not large, but noble. Their lips are red. Their countenance is perfect. 35. Their missing text are deep. Their navels are 36 deep and twisted to the right. Their bodies are ever youthful and unimpaired by any defects. They have prominences and are firm and solid. All their limbs are well proportioned. Their hands and feet are well formed. Their bellies are round, smooth, and unmarked, and do not hang down. From all sides they are beautiful to behold. Their habits are clean. They are free from black moles. Their hands are soft like cotton wool. The lines on their hands are deep, extensive, uncurtained, and crimson. Their countenance is serene. The face is like the moon. The tongue is slender and copper colored. Their voices are perfect in every way, sweet and beautiful. Their eye teeth are round, sharp, and very wide. Their noses are prominent, their eyes are very large, their eyelashes shine beautifully, their eyebrows are extensive, smooth, with hairs of equal length and glossy. Their ears are large and equal in size. Their foreheads are well formed and broad. The hair of their heads is smooth, not shaggy. 77 is missing, 78 and not rough. From 79 to 80, they have the Srivastava sign and the swastika on the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet. It is with these 80 accessory marks of that the Tathagata's body is endowed. The cognition of defilement and purification. Moreover, Subhuti, the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom, admonished the Bodhisattvas as follows: Sons of good family, may you become skilled in the consummation of the letters. May you become skilled in one letter, in two letters, etc., to in 42 letters. May you, through these 42 letters, come to a state which has moved away from everything. May you meditate on the 42 letters as contained in one letter, and may you meditate on one single letter as contained in 42 letters. And then Bodhisattva becomes skilled in 42 letters and in meditating on the 42 letters as contained in one letter and in meditating on one letter as contained in 42 letters. When he has developed the skill in the consummation of the letters, he becomes one who is skilled in the consummation of the letters. Just as the Tathagata skilled in Dharma, skilled in letters, demonstrate Dharma, and demonstrates with letters a Dharma which is without them. And yet the Dharma is not quite free from the mode of letters. Subhuti. If absolutely no being can be apprehended, no dharmas and no own being of these dharmas on account of absolute emptiness and the emptiness without beginning and end, how does the Bodhisattva who courses in the six perfections, etc., to the 80 accessory marks, demonstrate dharma to beings after he has stood in the six super knowledges born of karma result? For therein he apprehends no being nor concept of a being. From the non-apprehension of a being, there is a non-apprehension of form, etc., to the 18 special Buddha dharmas, and in the non-apprehension of a being, one cannot conceive of the concept of being. How can the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom demonstrate Dharma to beings? May the Bodhisattva not instigate beings to non-existent Dharmas? May he not enjoin perverted views upon them? And why? Because the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom doesn't even to begin with apprehend an enlightenment being. How much less the dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment? The Lord. So it is, Subhuti, so it is, as you say. From the non-apprehension of beings should be known the inward emptiness, etc., to the emptiness of the non-existence of own being, the emptiness of the skandhas, etc., to the emptiness of enlightenment out of the Buddha field. But when the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom has seen all the dharmas to be empty, he demonstrates dharma in such a way that he himself doesn't enter into these emptinesses. When he has seen things in such a way, he has cognized all dharmas as without covering. He doesn't upset any dharma or divide any one off, but he demonstrates the dharma as it really is. It is just that when the magical creation of Vitatagata, after he has conjured up countless other magical creations, enjoys in the perfection of giving on some, etc., to enjoins enlightenment on others. What do you think, Subhuti? Has then the magical creation affected the distinction or separation of any dharma whatsoever? Subhuti, no, O Lord. The Lord. By this method, you should know, Subhuti, that this is thus that the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom demonstrates dharma to beings, establishes them in the true reality, and frees them from the perverted views by way of the fact that they are neither bound nor freed. And why? Because form is etc. is neither bound nor freed. And the fact that form is etc. is neither bound nor freed, that is not form etc. And why? Because form is absolutely pure, and so for all conditioned and unconditioned dharmas, it is that surely that the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom demonstrates dharma to beings, but without apprehending as a being. It is in the non-apprehension of all dharmas that the Bodhisattva has stood, but without taking his stand on that. He has stood in the emptiness of form, etc., without taking his stand on that. For dharmas, whether conditioned or unconditioned, do not stand anywhere. And why? Because one cannot apprehend of them an own being in which they could be established. For the non-existent doesn't stand in the non-existent. Own being doesn't stand in own being. Other beings doesn't stand in other beings. And why? Because they all cannot be apprehended, and an object of non-apprehension cannot stand anywhere. It is thus that the Bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom systematically meditates on these dharmas by way of all these emptinesses, and it is thus that he becomes free from guilt with regard to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Prajika Buddhas, disciples, and all holy men. And why? Because the Buddhas, etc., to all holy men have understood just this Dharmahood, and when they have done so, they demonstrate Dharma to all beings, and they do not stray away from the Dharmahood of all Dharmas. And why? Because Dharmahood doesn't stray away, nor suchness, nor reality limit. And why? Because they have no own being which could stray away. Subhuti, if that is so, is then form one thing and the realm of Dharma another, suchness another, and the reality limit another? And so for all dharmas, the Lord. No, Subhuti, form etc. is not one thing in the realm of dharma another. Suchness doesn't. Suchness another and the relative limit another. Subhuti, if that's so, how then, O Lord, does one make definite distinctions such as black dharmas lead to a black karma result, to the health, the animal world, and the world of Yama? White dharmas lead to white karma result, to rebirth among gods and men. Black and white dharmas lead to a black and white karma result. The experience of both happiness and unhappiness dharmas, which are neither black nor white, lead to a karma result which is neither black nor white. The fruit of a Streamwinner is a direct to the supreme enlightenment. The Lord, when conventional truth can be made into the standard, the definite determination of the fruits can be described, but not by way of ultimate truth. And why? Because that Dharma is undiscriminated and incommunicable. Since name and form are non-production, non-stopping, non-defilement, non-purification, this is the absolute emptiness, the emptiness without beginning and end. Subhuti. If the determination of the fruit takes place on account of conventional truth and not in ultimate reality, then all the foolish, common people must already have the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc., to the supreme enlightenment. The Lord. Do then the common people wisely know the conventional and the ultimate truth? If they do, they will also be able to determine the various fruits, the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc., to the supreme enlightenment. But the foolish common people do not have the path, nor its development, nor a distinctive determination of its stages. So how can they have a distinctive determination of its fruits? It is the holy persons who have the path and its development, and it's therefore they who have a distinctive determination of its fruits. Subhuti. Is there then an attainment of the fruit as a result of the development of the path, and can a fruit be attained? The Lord. So, no, Subhuti. There is no attainment of the fruit as a result of the development of the path, and no fruit can be attained. In fact, there can be no attainment of the fruit without once having developed the path, and at the same time, no fruit can be attained through the path. It is that the bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom distinctively defines the fruit of beings, but without having cut off the share of either the conditioned or the unconditioned element. Subhuti. If that is so, then the Lord has never said that this is the fruit of a Streamwinner, the forsaking of the threefold fetter, this the fruit of one's return, the attenuation of greed for sense pleasures and of ill will, this the fruit of a never returner, the forsaking of the five lower fetters, this is arhatship, the forsaking of five higher fetters, this is the alignment of a Pratika Buddha, that whatever was doomed to originate, that is now invariably doomed to stop. This is the supreme enlightenment, the forsaking of all defilements together with their residues. How can we understand the meaning of the Lord's teachings if the distinctive determination of the fruits doesn't take place through cutting off the share of either conditioned or unconditioned dharmas? The Lord. Is then the fruit of a Streamwinner, etc., conditioned or unconditioned? The Subhuti. It is unconditioned, the Lord, not conditioned, or well gone, the Lord. Is there then such a thing as the cutting off of the share with regard to an unconditioned dharma? Subhuti, no, will learn, Lord. It is thus that the bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom demonstrates dharma to beings without cutting off the share on account of the inward emptiness, etc., to the emptiness of all marks. He himself doesn't settle down in any dharma, and others also he doesn't settle down anywhere. In the perfection of giving, etc., to in the knowledge of all modes, not having settled down anywhere, he doesn't get stuck anywhere. It is as with the magical creation of a Tathagata who, when he gives a gift, does not get stuck with the fruit of the gift and doesn't experience the fruit of the gift, except in so far as it is conductive to leading all beings to final nirvana. He doesn't stand anywhere, no in dharmas, with or without outflows, worldly or supramundane, conditioned or unconditioned. This doesn't the bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom, courses in all dharmas, but doesn't stand in any dharma and get stuck to one. And why? Because he has well penetrated the dharma mark of dharmas. This is the end of 73rd chapter of the large sutra of perfect wisdom, the Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram.